Welcome back. And earlier today, it was business as usual for the Princess of Wales as she visited a nursery in Luton as part of her early years development work. The engagement was her first solo appearance since the release of Harry's spiteful Spare, which was jam-packed with personal attacks against her and Prince William. So while Kate admirably carries out her duties, the dim-witted Duke is in diplomatic hot water with the despotic regime of Iran using his Taliban kill count revelation to help justify the execution of a detained British Iranian, Alireza Akbari. But even though Harry continues to damage the reputation of Britain and the monarchy, King Charles is reportedly eyeing reconciliation talks even before his coronation in May. Well, my next guest, Meghan Markle's biographer and one of the country's top journalists, Tom Bower, received word that at a recent private dinner for friends hosted by the King and Queen Consort at Clarence House, guests were shocked by His Majesty's reluctance to confront his tearaway son. So, Tom, great to have you. You say the King could be treading a dangerous path because Harry and Meghan will settle for nothing less than total capitulation and victory. What have you learned?
Royal expert Tom Bower just dropped a bombshell claim that changes everything we thought we knew about Harry and Meghan's financial situation. According to Bower, the Sussexes are desperately cash-strapped and clinging to their Netflix deal like a lifeline. He's not mincing words here, saying they traded their reputation for cold hard cash, and now they're trapped in contracts they can't escape from. The financial reality is hitting hard. Bower reveals they need every penny coming in because there's literally no other income source keeping them afloat. They're stuck making content for Netflix whether they like it or not, because without those streaming dollars, their Montecito lifestyle crumbles overnight. The criticism means nothing when you're facing financial ruin. Former Vanity Fair editor Tina Brown backed up these claims at the Henley Literary Festival, calling the couple D-list celebrities by Hollywood standards.
Well, Dan, good evening. Well, I think the problem is that Charles hates confrontation throughout his whole life. He has made his best to avoid challenging people who might in some way harm him. And he's scared. He's scared of Harry, especially now when Harry claims that there's another 400 pages of his memoirs which have not been published. And Harry is able, in my view, to really damage Charles by releasing more information or inventions and lies about the problems with Diana, with Camilla, and his relationship with Kate and William. And I'm afraid that the King, instead of seeing that surrender is the worst policy to pursue, has made it clear to his close friends that he'd prefer to find some sort of reconciliation and settlement with Harry and Meghan. And that, of course, in my view, would spell doom and disaster for the monarchy.
I think it's absolute madness. I mean, surely, Tom, this is not something that Prince William is going to go along with.
She pointed out that their $14 million mansion looks like a shack compared to what real A-listers own in their neighborhood. Brown even suggested Meghan might be eyeing bigger fish, noting that Elon Musk remains single. The implication was crystal clear. Bower doesn't hold back when discussing Meghan's motivations. He claims money obsession drove her entire relationship with Harry from day one. The shocking part? She apparently expected Harry to be worth hundreds of millions, maybe billions. When reality hit and she discovered his relatively modest wealth, everything changed. Now she's scrambling to make up that financial shortfall through media deals. The Netflix problem goes deeper than anyone imagined.
Well, Dan, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, William and Kate have been utterly humiliated and insulted. First by Meghan herself in the Oprah Winfrey interview, and now again in Spare, the book. And the idea that William should in any way seek reconciliation, apologize to Harry and Meghan for anything, these inventions that the Montecito hucksters have delivered about the Prince and Princess of Wales is absurd. And I think here we see a definite division between Prince William and his father. Prince William will in no way want to apologize to Harry for his invented allegations about Kate and William not treating the couple properly, and will fear that if his father in any way seeks reconciliation, of course, the Montecito couple will certainly not accept just a simple apology. They'll want something that's actually grovelling, absolute capitulation, which will damage the monarchy even more than it has so far been.
Indeed, and shouldn't Tom Charles take a bit of a lesson from how Harry and Meghan responded to Jeremy Clarkson's apology this week? Because look, that was completely grovelling. It was bootlicking in its desperation to beg for forgiveness. And not only did they not accept the apology, Tom, they released a public statement trying to effectively end the career of Jeremy Clarkson forevermore, and they may well be successful on that front in the woke media, looking at where ITV and where Amazon is at. But I think they would do a very similar thing to Charles and to William. If they think that one apology is going to end this campaign of destruction from the Sussexes, I think they're very naive.
The streaming giant isn't satisfied with feel-good documentaries about Harry's charity work or Meghan's children's programming ideas. They want explosive royal family content that justifies their massive investment. Netflix executives are reportedly demanding their pound of flesh after shelling out 9 figures for Sussex content. Here's where it gets really messy. Bauer suggests the only escape route involves King Charles bailing out his son financially. This would mean paying off Netflix penalties, covering book contract cancellations, and spending millions to free Harry from his media obligations. But there's a catch. Charles would demand a signed agreement preventing future royal family attacks. The deal would never work because Meghan has zero interest in staying silent. According to Bauer, she thrives on controversy and wants to keep battling the royal establishment.
Well, I agree with you. Putting the Jeremy Clarkson issue to aside, of course, what the palace believes is that if they secretly negotiate a peace deal with the Sussexes, they can both make a statement and that'll be it. But of course, you can't trust Meghan and Harry. That's the point. Even if you think you've got a deal, and that I don't believe that is possible, but if you think you have, the palace will be shocked that they will renege immediately because they have no advantage of reconciliation. They've got no advantage of ending their vendetta against the Windsors and against Britain. Their whole financial future is tied up in publishing more revelations, accusations, and all the rest. So I don't see that the palace should even begin to in any way seek a deal or apologize like Jeremy Clarkson did, at least, not that. But what they need to do is face up to the blackmail that's coming from California and in some way or other undermine Harry's and Meghan's credibility.
Fighting the
and
monarchy
this is blackmail,
isn't just
Tom. I think
her,
you're absolutely right to call it that. I did earlier in the week. The interview in the Daily Telegraph was nothing short of emotional blackmail on a global scale. Your solution to this is fascinating, though. You actually think that William really needs to be on the front foot and potentially even speak out publicly. Is that right?
Yes, that's right, Dan. I think that once the publicity campaign of Harry's to promote his book dies out, which obviously will at some stage, only William can make a seasoned and reasonable statement to the world to assert the following fundamental facts: that Meghan was warmly welcomed in Britain, that everyone in the royal family tried their very, very hardest to make her feel at home and accommodate her, but that unfortunately Meghan only wanted to be the and made it impossible for her and the royal family to collaborate and coexist. I think in the end they're going to have to somehow publish the report into the investigation of Meghan's alleged bullying of her staff in Kensington Palace. And I think that William has to say that the monarchy of Britain is not there to be a target for people who want to make money and gain publicity from attacking them. William is the right man to make it. It should not be an interview, but a statement in a regal manner and a normal and considered manner. But I think that is the way for them somehow and to draw a line under these attacks and humiliate the Sussexes to stop their campaign.
And I think William would do a very good job of that. You will remember his statement against the BBC after the findings of the Martin Bashir interview were released, and it was very regal. It was very sophisticated, and I think William would do well doing that. Can we just talk a little bit about some of the fallout from the revelations in Spare? Of course, Harry wants to blame the British press when it comes to his kill count revelation having ramifications. But just this week, we've seen the despotic Iranian regime using it to try and justify a despicable execution.
They bet everything on being royal outsiders, but that gamble is backfiring spectacularly as their financial empire crumbles. The brand decline has been swift and merciless. Polling data shows their favorability ratings have plummeted not just in Britain, but across Commonwealth countries and even in the United States where they initially found refuge. The novelty of royal rebels has worn off, replaced by growing fatigue with their constant complaints and seemingly endless appetite for publicity. Corporate partnerships that once seemed promising have quietly dissolved. Major brands that initially saw the Sussexes as fresh, diverse faces for their products have discovered that association with the couple brings more negative attention than positive brand enhancement. The lucrative endorsement deals that were supposed to fund their independent lifestyle have largely failed to materialize. The speaking circuit, once a reliable income source for high-profile figures, has also proven disappointing. Event organizers report declining interest in Sussex appearances, with audiences growing tired of hearing the same grievances repeated at different venues. The couple's asking prices have reportedly dropped significantly as demand has evaporated. The children's factor adds another layer of complexity to their financial predicament. Archie and Lilibet's security costs alone run into millions annually, while their education and lifestyle expenses continue mounting. The couple's desire to provide their children with privacy conflicts directly with their need to monetize their royal connections, creating ongoing tension about how much family life to exploit for content. The Montecito mansion, once a symbol of their successful transition to independent wealth, has become a financial albatross. Property taxes,
well, this is the sadness
and
of the stupidity of Prince Harry. He doesn't understand the terrible consequences of many of his allegations and accusations and unfortunately misrepresentations and lies in his book. Now, in the case of the 25 Taliban he claims to have killed, it was a very, very foolish thing of him to have actually said that to his ghostwriter. The ghostwriter, of course, was looking for anything to sex up the book. And he didn't think about the consequences. I think Harry has put not only himself, but every Briton now in some sort of danger of retaliation. It's a very sensitive situation. And it's just one tiny example of the huge damage that Harry has caused by his book. He has undermined colossally the status of the royal family, but in this case, in the case of the Taliban, he has now increased the danger to himself. I don't think he realized, nor did, of course, Meghan, who is behind this whole thing, what the consequence would be of making this statement. I mean, it was a very, very dangerous thing to do, because we've seen what happened to Salman Rushdie. 10, 20 years after the fatwa was issued, he's still, in the end, there's always some lunatic who's willing to carry it out. It's hard to see how Harry is going to escape the dangers that he's created himself.
Public appearances, and family revelations must be weighed against immediate financial necessity, creating a downward spiral that may ultimately force them into bankruptcy or complete dependence on King Charles's financial intervention. The Sussex saga has become a cautionary tale about the dangers of monetizing family relationships and the impossibility of maintaining both privacy and publicity-dependent income streams. Their attempt to have the best of both worlds, royal prestige without royal obligations, has left them trapped in a financial and reputational prison of their own making, with no clear exit strategy that doesn't involve complete capitulation to either family demands or media master requirements. The stark reality for Harry and Meghan is that their options are dwindling. The path they carved out, fueled by public fascination with their royal exit, is now riddled with financial potholes and reputational damage. The very independence they sought seems to be cornering them into a difficult position. One potential, albeit unlikely, lifeline could come from a shift in strategy. Instead of focusing on sensational tell-alls or critiques of the monarchy, they might attempt to pivot their content toward more universally appealing, positive themes. This would involve a significant rebranding and a willingness to step away from the narrative that has defined their post-royal lives. However, given their current contractual obligations, such a pivot would be incredibly challenging to execute without further financial penalties. Another scenario, as suggested by Bauer, involves the monarchy itself intervening. This would be a painful pill for both sides to swallow. For Harry and Meghan, it would mean relinquishing the very control and independence they fought for, effectively becoming financially beholden to the institution they left. For the royal family, it would be an expensive bailout that could be perceived as rewarding past transgressions, potentially fueling further public debate about the use of taxpayer money. The condition of silence, as Bauer points out, would be a major sticking point, as Meghan's alleged need for conflict and relevance appears deeply ingrained. The sale of their Montecito estate is becoming an increasingly tangible possibility. While it would undoubtedly be a blow to their image of success and independence, it could provide a much-needed influx of capital to stabilize their immediate financial woes and reduce their exorbitant fixed costs. Downsizing to a more manageable property, perhaps in a less expensive area, would be a pragmatic, if humbling, step. Ultimately, the future of Harry and Meghan's financial empire hinges on their ability to generate consistent, high-value content that resonates with audiences and satisfies their media partners. If the current trajectory of declining interest and brand fatigue continues, they face a precipitous decline into financial instability. The allure of their royal connection, once their biggest asset, is now proving to be a double-edged sword, trapping them in a cycle of needing to exploit it while simultaneously suffering the backlash. The pressure from Netflix is likely to intensify, not abate. With the recent cancellation of several high-profile deals and a growing emphasis on return on investment, the streaming giant will be pushing for more impactful and exclusive content. This could force the Sussexes into a difficult choice: either deliver the kind of explosive material Netflix desires, further alienating the royal family and potentially damaging their own long-term image, or risk losing their most significant income stream. The rumored desire for more personal revelations from their time within the monarchy suggests a deepening of the very conflict they ostensibly wanted to escape. Furthermore, their public image crisis is not contained to traditional media. Social media trends and online discourse play a significant role in shaping public perception. The constant cycle of negative headlines and critical commentary creates a hostile environment for any potential new ventures or brand partnerships. Rebuilding trust and goodwill with the public, both in the UK and internationally, will require a concerted and sustained effort that goes beyond reactive statements or carefully curated interviews. This would likely involve a prolonged period of lower-profile work and a genuine shift away from victim narratives. The impact on their children, Archie and Lilibet, is also a growing concern. While they have consistently emphasized their desire for privacy for their children, their continued reliance on media deals that often touch upon their royal connections inevitably brings their family into the public eye. As the children grow older, they will become more aware of the public scrutiny and the financial pressures on their parents. This raises ethical questions about the long-term consequences of their current financial strategy on their children's well-being and sense of normalcy. In the long run, the Sussexes may find themselves at a crossroads, forced to choose between maintaining their high-profile, high-cost lifestyle and embracing a truly independent, perhaps less glamorous existence. This could involve scaling back their ambitions significantly, focusing on a few select philanthropic endeavors or niche projects that align with their personal values, rather than chasing multi-million-dollar deals. Such a shift would require a fundamental reevaluation of their goals and a willingness to accept a less opulent standard of living. Ultimately, the cautionary tale of Harry and Meghan underscores the inherent difficulties of leveraging royal status for commercial gain while simultaneously seeking privacy and distance from the institution. Their gamble on becoming global media figures has brought them immense wealth, but it has also entangled them in a complex web of financial obligations, public expectations, and familial tensions from which there appears to be no easy escape. The next chapter of their story will undoubtedly reveal how they navigate these increasingly treacherous waters.